Hi guys, it's Chris at Cork and Crown. I'm back at my cider table. I'm going to call it a cider table with some more cider to try, but it's not. It's Perry, and it's one bottle I have. It was gifted to me by Martin Harris at Butford Organics. Thank you, Martin. One I never had before, one I never heard of before actually, and I don't think there's much of it about. It's called Teddington Green. Teddington Green, there you go, nice green label. This is the 2023 vintage. It's 5.5%, so a nice ABV. I think 2023 wasn't a year for big ABVs. Ingredients: organic pear juice, as always, nothing else. It's wild yeast, fermenting the juice, and it's finished in bottle. So this will be pet nat, method ancestral. So it's going to be sparkling. I don't know how sparkling. Probably not madly sparkling because it's got a crown cap rather than a cork. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. So first tasting I've done for a little bit. Been in hospital. Again, I'm not a sickly person, folks. I've worked for decades in very, very physical jobs. Never had any problems. The last year or two, flip her neck. It's just been one thing after another. Got a kidney stone, a big one. Got stuck. I do not recommend it. I do not recommend it. Apparently, after childbirth, it's one of the most painful things to experience, which I can believe. I've never given birth, obviously. I've witnessed two births, very close up, of my own children, in fact. That looked painful. I'm not going to lie. It's not, compared to that, I'm sure it's a walk in the park. But it's not a very nice walk in the park. It's a very unpleasant, long walk in the park, which I'd rather not have experienced. So, let's open it. Pop. Smoke away. Not only a smoking gun, but it's gone all over the table. That was quite fizzy for one of Martin's. It didn't do anything for a second. I'm just going to get something and clean the table. Because I like this table. Bear with me. I'm back. Cleaned up the mess. It's very aromatic. It's a very aromatic mess. In a nice way. So, where were we? Oh yes, so we poured it out. It's sparkling, as you probably gathered. Hazy, look at that hazy. Oh, what colour is that? Sort of like, quite a lot of sediment in there. I don't really care about that. Let me just dry the bottom of this glass off a little bit. Quite a lot of sediment, doesn't really bother me sediment. Sometimes, especially, it looks very organic in Perry's. It can be quite sort of off-putting to look at the thing. But actually, when you drink it, you don't even notice it's there. It's quite something. So I'm not really bothered about that. I mean, it's so sparkling, you know. And actually, it was on its side. It was stored on its side in the fridge because I couldn't stand it up. So that probably hasn't helped. But let's ignore the sediment because it would settle out. It's almost like a grapefruity, peachy, like peach juice meets grapefruit juice or something like that. Grapefruit juice, something like that. That's what I want to say. Hazy, obviously, unfiltered. Let's smell it. After all the excitement. Okay. Wow. Obvious pear, but really tropical. Really tropical. Like a rich tropical dessert. I'm thinking like, I don't know, kiwi, papaya, something like that. Maybe a hint of sort of petrochemicals underneath, in a good way though. Yeah, very subtle. By petrochemicals I mean like new Wellington boot. Cheesemonger 30 years. I've had loads of Wellington boots. I know what they smell like. It's a great smell. It's a great smell. That sort of petrochemical thing, in like really good Rieslings you get it. And I look out for it. It's fantastic. I love it. This is, they've got the merest suggestion of that. But at the front, it's like, I don't know, tropical, peachy. It really is. I mean, if there's pear, it's like pear sweets. Does that make any sense? Like sugar pear sweets, something like that. Like pear but confections with like icing sugar on them or something like that. I think my mouth water. Really interesting nose. Very different. Can I say that Teddington Green, it made me feel quite nostalgic. It reminds me of children's programs when I was little, like Camberwick Green and Trumpton and Chigley. I love them very much. Google it. So let's try this. Okay, lovely bubbles, lovely bubbles. So on the nose, it smelled tropical, and I said like there was like sugared, sort of sweet, sugared sort of pear kind of character to it. Sweets, pretty much bone dry. There is no residual sugar, and I would suggest zero sorbitol in this. It's properly dry. Minerality, not really much tannin to speak of. It has that tropical flavour, but without the sugar, it's hard to think of it as a tropical flavour because we associate tropical fruits with high sugar levels. This has none of that at all. Almost like that grapefruit thing I suggested in the colour. I almost get like a grapefruity characteristic. Not quite a pithiness, but sort of a grapefruit element to it. It's quite a transition from the nose to the palate. Quite dramatic. I'm now getting a little bit of almost like a yeasty pastry character. As I'm drinking it and smelling, there's like a pastry element. That welly, subtle welly, really subtle welly thing as well. Kind of thing. Something. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. Very dry. I think because it's a dry food, I'd have that with, I mean, I think it'd be quite nice with, sorry, the nose is fascinating. Bit of Parmesan. Parmigiano Reggiano. Something sweet. A sweet, crunchy, quite intense cheese. Because this has got zero sweetness in it. So the sweetness of that and the bubbles of that with the fat content of the cheese, which is quite high because it's a hard cheese. Hard cheese are higher in fat because there's less moisture in them. The fat is less dilute. People think things like brie and runny camembert are the fattiest because it looks fatty. It's like using, but in fact, they're lower in fat because they're soft. Therefore, they have more moisture in them. Ergo, the fat's more dilute. So it's something like a hard cheese. That fat content with the bubbles and the nice bubbles work really well. And that dryness as well. I'm almost getting like a savoury element of the nose as well now. It's underneath that tropical thing, almost with like smoky bacon or bacon fat, something like that. That is a really interesting perry. Very different. As far as I'm aware, it only originated in the early 1900s, so 20th century, from Teddington Manor in Teddington in Gloucestershire. That's as much as I could really find out about it. But yeah, really interesting. Really interesting. There you go. Another interesting perry from Butford Organics. One of my favourite small producers. We like it very much. And thank you, Martin, for gifting this bottle. It is very much appreciated. I'm going to enjoy drinking this. So there you go, guys. Thank you for joining me at my cider table, which I'm now calling it. I hope you join me again, but until that time, cheers.